Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paolo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Tyler Tio. In tonight's game plan, the Clippers take Game 3 at home versus the Suns. Is Playoff P back? And can Paul George lead the Clippers to a championship? The Teniente LA Tenorio joins us to talk more about Gilas Pilipinas. We'll get his takes on the young standouts of our national team.
Then, LA will also give us an inside look into Barangay GINEBRA'S preparations to defend their PBA title. And we'll catch up with Filipina Trackster Kristina Knott as she suits up for flag and country in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, NBA and Clippers fans, yes, I know you're there. Let me hear you say it. Suns in 4, no more! That's right, no more! Paul George comes up big in the LA win with 27 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists. Chris Paul returns for the Suns, and we got to see a masked Devin Booker. But the two Phoenix Stars only combined for 30 points in their loss. Joining me and Tyler tonight for our NBA discussion, we surely missed having him on the show. Four-time PBA Finals MVP and senior basketball analyst for the game, L.A. Tenorio. L.A., kamusta ka naman?
Hi Pao, hi Tyler. Good evening.
Good evening,
Good
Idol.
evening to all viewers. Yeah. Okay naman.
So again, we were talking off the air na sobrang idol ni Tyler si LA. So let's see how he does here. So LA, si Chris Paul pinag-usapan natin na dati, and then sinabi mo that, well, he is a big difference maker. But first game back, talo sila against the Clippers. Sa palagay mo ba may konting adjustment period ulit? Kahit, it's only been a few games na nawala si Chris Paul.
I don't think we need to highlight Chris Paul coming back from the third game. No? I think there's a lot of factor naman. That's why the Phoenix Suns lost this game 3. No? I think we have to give credit also to LA Clippers. No? Na siyempre nag-adjust din sila after 0-2 na pagkatalo nila. So I think they adjusted well. So we have to give credit also to Clippers, and of course, it's hard also if it's hard to come back also if you're down 0-3. So I think the Clippers really played a little bit of desperate. No, they know naman that they can beat Phoenix Suns. It's just a matter of 2 free throws of Paul George lang naman last game, diba? So yun lang naman yun. So but I think Chris Paul coming back. I don't think there's a problem naman with Phoenix Suns. One factor also is, as you mentioned a while ago, Paolo, is yun nga, siguro na-bother masyado si Devin Booker with his mask. No? Medyo hindi siya sanay. Mahirap yun, mahirap maglaro with the mask.
Actually, LA, sinabi mo nga, and Tyler, I have to bring you in on this one. Give credit daw to the Clippers. Sorry, LA, kasi sobrang Lakers fan ito si Tyler, and right now, give credit daw to the Clippers. So, ayun, Tyler, give credit to the Clippers.
Go Tyler.
just a little bit of credit. But yeah, regarding the Clippers, Kuya LA, sa tingin nyo ba na Paul George can lead the Clippers to a championship by himself with no Kawhi Leonard?
Ayun.
Wow, that's a big, it's a good question actually, but it's a big question mark for me. But to be honest, my opinion, I don't think Paul George can lead the LA Clippers to the championship on his own. Medyo mahirap yun kasi when you're talking about championship, you have to beat Atlanta or Milwaukee on the other side, right? So medyo mahirap seeing Milwaukee and Atlanta plays parang, and even Phoenix Suns. I mean, they have to go through Phoenix Suns also. Medyo mahirap talaga, no? He has to play consistently the way he played, and the whole team. Katulad ng ginawa nila Game 3, they have to consistently play that game. That kind of game, every game, all throughout. So, but it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's possible, but for me, I don't think he can beat
Grabe.
Clippers
Okay,
on
LA.
his own, diba? Sorry,
LA, hater
Clippers
ka lang.
fan,
Hater ka lang, LA.
Clippers. Hindi
Okay,
ako
so-
hater ng Clippers. I'm just saying the truth, di ba? I mean, as a player kasi, the way, di ba, parang the way the game is playing right now,
Oo.
that's why meron niya mga big three, di ba? Yung mga big three nga, nahihirapan pa. Big four, nahihirapan pa sa championship, di ba?
Tama.
So,
Si Paul George ang
medyo
mag-isa, mas
mahirap.
mahirap na yun. Oo. Well, from the NBA, LA, let's go on and talk about something we can all cheer for. And siguro naman walang haters dito. Gilas Pilipinas, in particular, this young group going to Serbia and trying to siguro shock the world in games against Serbia and the Dominican Republic. I'm sure nakita mo yung mga games nila sa bubble dito sa Clark. And who impressed you the most? A lot of people are talking about Dwight Ramos. Para sa iba, siya yung siguro yung pinaka-standout from the FIBA bubble.
Of course, definitely it's Dwight Ramos talaga. Actually, I'm a bit surprised na he played like that in the bubble, no, in the national team. I just saw him play in Ateneo, diba? Kasi syempre iba yung mga nakakalaban niya sa collegiate dito compared to all the national team, especially Korea, diba? So, but another surprise for me is of course the 2 point guards, no, SJ Bilangel and ABARRIENTOS, no. The future of the Philippine basketball is really, seeing all those young players like Kai Soto, the 2 point guards, even Carl Tamayo, diba? There's Baltasar and a lot of players, no. The future of Philippine basketball is in good hands, no. Kung patuloy sila maglalaro talaga the same way they played, no. So, yun.
Kuya LA, how big of a factor sa tingin mo sina Kai Soto and Ange Kwame in terms of size for Gilas?
Well, playing for the national team, it's really, you need height, no? Especially itong Olympic qualifying na pupuntahan nila Belgrade. Dito natin makikita how important the height, and and the experience also. So dito talaga matetest yung character ng team, and dito natin makikita, and this is a good training also, and I'm sure Coach Tab knows this, that this is part of the program, playing for the Olympic qualifying, and an opportunity for the players to experience more manly game, no? Kasi iba talaga pag mga top 15 or even top 20 teams in the world na makakalaban mo compared to the Asian countries only, di ba? So it's gonna be it's a man game now, no? So yun yung dito natin matetest yan, and dito natin makikita how important Kai and Kwame talaga for the national team, yung mga height na katulad nila. So yun.
LA, may trend dito sa Pilipinas that if you have a name that is 2 letters, yung first name mo, you're probably a great point guard. LA, SJ, RJ. And when you look at si SJ and si RJ, yung game nila, medyo, I guess, masarap panoorin because of the fact that it has yung, parang yung DNA, yung DNA mo ni Jason and the other veterans that we've seen play point for Gilas Pilipinas. And when you look at these 2 players, do they remind you of anyone, either currently in the PBA or someone who used to play for Gilas, that siguro looking forward, we can see shades of them as they grow older?
I think, of course, ang nakikita ko, yung ABARRIENTOS is Johnny A. The way he plays, parang yung ginagaya talaga niya yung uncle niya, di ba? I don't see, and I don't want to compare it to Jimmy and Jason because they have a different skills, no? Jimmy and Jason. Jimmy is is a different kind of point guard, and of course Jason. Siguro a glimpse of Jason Castro is both of them, no?
Yeah.
Pagsamahin mo kasi very talented, no? And talagang daredevil drive parate. Talagang wala silang takot, no? I don't see myself sa kanila kasi mas magaling sila sa akin.
Wow!
So, medyo doon medyo hands down ako sa kanila playing for the national team. And as early as now, napakita nila yung how important talaga yung position nila, yung ginagawa nila, kung gaano sila ka-importante sa team, no? I'm very happy and I'm very happy, and especially for Ateneo also.
Yeah, of course you are.
I'm happy too.
Oh, grabe, these guys are
Right,
humble.
Tyler?
Grabe ka-humble ni
I'm
LA,
happy,
no?
I'm
Grabe, oo.
Yeah. So, Kuya LA, hot take from you. Who do you think, aside from Dwight Ramos, ang pinaka-PBA ready from these Gilas boys?
Oo, okay yun.
Okay. From the Gilas boys now, I think, Kai Soto, of course, di ba?
Well,
he's a
I guess
PBA ready.
given.
He's a PBA ready. Very safe answer, right? Kai Soto.
Oo nga eh. Grabe. That's napaka-conservative. You should have made it difficult, Tyler. You should have made it
Soto.
difficult.
Okay,
Oo.
okay.
Pero you
Fair,
know
fair.
what? Talking about the PBA, we have a bit of that coming up soon.
Yeah. How is Barangay Ginebra preparing to defend their title? The Teniente, LA Tenorio, will give us an inside look at Ginebra's bubble training. So stay tuned. You're watching the game. Welcome back to the game. I'm Tyler Tio. Barangay Ginebra is looking to keep their winning ways as they prepare for the upcoming PBA season. Four-time PBA Finals MVP, the Teniente, LA Tenorio, is still with us to give us an inside look at the Never Say Die squad's bubble training. Idol, how are you? Ang daming mga kabarangay na sobrang excited na makita kayo ulit sa court. Kamusta po ang pagbabalik practice?
Ang practice namin kasi, we're not in a bubble actually.
Closed
We're in
circuit,
a closed
diba?
circuit bubble.
Tama.
Yeah, closed circuit. How do you call that? Yeah, closed circuit bubble. So we're traveling, Manila to Batangas to practice now. It's really a sacrifice for us talaga going back and forth, to Manila. But we're happy that we're back. We're happy that most of the players are healthy. We're still fighting players, a lot of players, actually 3 players, key players from injuries. So they're still recovering. But so far, so good. I mean, probably now, hopefully soon, kung mag-opening ang PBA soon, we're probably in 60% ready, 60-70% ready. I'm not saying na we're that ready already, but playing no basketball for almost 6 months, medyo mahirap kunin yun for almost 1 month. So little by little, step by step, we're getting there. Especially with our new guys, with our rookies, and of course Christian Standhardinger, medyo nag-adjust pa rin talaga. So a lot of work to do, marami pa, but we're really excited to play again. Especially me, another season for me. So we're really excited, and we know that it's gonna be really hard this coming conference kasi lahat ng teams nagpalakas talaga. And this is the hardest, I think, na conference na lalaruin namin, knowing that our target now, a lot of teams talaga ang target kami.
Yeah.
Kasi syempre kami yung defending champion, so kami yung target nila. So the thing that we did last bubble is, I think it's not good enough for this conference, to defend the title. So we really have to double time our work.
Yeah. Well, LA, na-mention mo na Christian Standhardinger part of the team, a couple of rookies as well. Kamusta naman yung pagka-integrate nila sa sistema ni Coach Tim?
The rookies are, getting there. Of course, masyado malaki yung adjustment ng rookies namin because, aside from the system is really playing with, with the big guys, with the professional players. It's different when you play against players with experience in the PBA, players like, like me, or Stanley, Joe, diba? Joe and Japet, diba? But Christian, for now, he's still injured. He's still recovering from an injury, past injury. We want to make sure that before the opening, he's 100%. That's why we're not forcing him to practice right away. But knowing Christian, I see him as a smart player also. He knows the game. And naging teammate na namin siya sa SEA Games. So basically, he knows a little bit of coach team system. So hopefully makabalik na siya soon and para ma-integrate na namin yung mga kailangan niya malaman for the team, the system and the chemistry that we have to build.
A lot of teams are saying, well, a lot of people are saying na kayo yung favorites because kayong defending champions. But then the last time anyone has played a game here was last year. Sobrang tagal na eh. And do you feel that it's something that siguro start from scratch lahat ng mga teams in terms of building up yung championship resume, yung pedigree nila?
Actually, you're right, Pao. Same thing before we started the bubble last time. Everyone is parang we started from scratch. So ngayon kasi nagkaroon ng opportunity kami to have a longer preparation compared to last time na we went to the bubble. So it's really a matter of how will you prepare for this coming conference and taking advantage of the time. That's why a lot of teams also are doing bubble. Diba? May Meralco, TNT, and I think NLEX is still in the bubble right now.
Yeah.
So taking advantage, it's not only kasi winning a championship. It's not only talent and playing basketball. It's a combination of talent, skills, chemistry. I think especially our coach is a chemistry guy. So parang wala kaming time to do all team buildings and the bubble and stuff like that. So we really have to take advantage of practices talaga. So that's why we're practicing almost 3 hours a day now. Instead before mga na less than 2 hours lang kami.
Grabe. Tay, can you imagine that? Training for 3 hours or more? Pero
I can actually. I know what it's like.
Kaya nila yun. They can do that. Bata pa yung mga yun.
Actually, that's what I'm curious with also Kasi iba yung physical preparation and mental preparation ng mga bata compared to the veterans. At I think you have some insight on how the younger ones, yung mga bagets ngayon, actually prepare mentally. Do you have any, siguro, if you're going to ask si Kuya LA right now, what are the tips to stay ready during this time, during this pandemic, going into siguro a season after a very long time?
Actually, Kuya LA, do you think na mas okay to ramp up training in terms of physical in this off-season, or do you use this time to kind of rest mentally and physically?
Actually, personally, during this time of almost 6 months or 5 to 6 months, we were, we can't play basketball because of the qualification of the protocols. Actually, what I did after the bubble, I really rested my body. Playing for almost 16 years now in the PBA. I need to somehow parang heal the injuries and prepare again my body to be ready again for the next battle. But it's a balance of physical and mental. Parang mentally also in the bubble, parang na-drain kami sa bubble mentally. Not only because of the games, but staying in the bubble for 2.5 months.
Separation.
Now you're not used to it. Preparation and everything. Going away with your, staying away with your family for 2.5 months. Medyo, mentally, medyo mahirap yun eh. Diba? So, na-drain din kami doon. And then, during this time off, I rested my body and, parang inalis ko muna yung basketball for a couple of months. Probably mga 3 months nga akong hindi basketball or 3 or 4 months. So parang ganun, matagal akong naggawa ng ibang, nag-golf ako, yun nga, gumawa ako ng iba.
LA,
So
tama.
just to refresh my mind and my body.
Oh, tama. LA, actually, because of all of these tips, tignan mo, in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, si Tyler will change into an even better baller. LA, salamat.
Sana.
Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Idol.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, pal.
All right, so after the break, we'll check what's running through the mind of Filipina trackster Kristina Knott as she prepares for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Keep it here. You're watching the game. Welcome back to the game. I'm Paulo Del Rosario. In 2019, we witnessed the historic feat of Kristina Knott, who broke the 33-year-old national record of track legend Lydia De Vega. With her recent qualifications in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, the Filipina speedster is ready to zoom her way and hopefully win a hardware for the country. Tonight, the 25-year-old sprinter joins us live from Sweden to share her preparations for the upcoming Tokyo Games. God dag, Kristina, välkommen till the game. That is probably the worst Swedish spoken in this show. How are you?
Good, how are you?
We're
Hey,
good. We're
Kristina.
good. Now, Kristina, before we move on to, I guess, finding out what you're up to, how are you feeling right now? There is news, of course, of you being COVID positive, and will that affect how your participation rather in the Tokyo Olympics?
I feel great. The only thing that is probably affecting me is the fact that I'm stuck in a room for 5 days. I'm on this is day 4, so I'm almost there. And then I test again, but I was so confused when I tested positive because one, everyone around me tested negative and I was feeling great. So I'm still confused.
Well, you know what? Hopefully get more clarity on that and clarity on your upcoming plans.
Yeah, Kristina, last we saw you compete for the Philippines was during the 2019 SEA Games. So can you tell us a little bit about what you've been up to recently?
Yeah, so since the SEA Games, 2020 was rough for everyone. You know, everything got shut down. I was able to compete again one time in 2020, and that's when I officially took down all of Lydia De Vega's records. I broke the 100-meter record in September of 2020. And then all of 2021, this is probably the most I've competed since college. So I've been traveling, which is crazy because we're still in the midst of a pandemic, but I've been traveling and competing probably the most that I've had in like 3 years.
Yeah. You know, looking at the fact that you are a record breaker, you mentioned it before, how did it feel knowing that now you're the one who holds those records and hopefully will set more Philippine records in the coming Olympics?
Yeah, I'm not satisfied with the records. I'm not satisfied with the time. So that is my goal going into the Olympics, is to break her, Kristina Knott, break that girl's records.
You know, I love the confidence here. And when you're going into an Olympics that's, again, a bit strange, pandemic-wise, how are you leading up to it, your plans in terms of training?
Training, I just prepare like I'm preparing for any other track meet. Every track meet is the same, just has a different title. So, you know, just going in with the same preparation I've been doing. But it has a little bit more excitement because it's the biggest world stage that I've ever get to perform at. So I'm excited.
Yeah, so you've broken a 33-year Philippine record in the SEA Games. What can we expect from you in the Olympics?
Breaking these records again.
You know what? She said it. She's gonna break that girl Knott's records, and we're gonna see if that'll happen. But you know, this whole thing obviously stems from the fact that you qualified via that universality rule, and you're here to try and break the records that you already set. But how did you feel when you found out that you qualified in the first place?
It was a weird feeling because it was the next day after I was informed that I tested positive.
Wow.
So I'm like on my bed, my phone is like buzzing off the hook, and I'm like, why is everybody congratulating me? And then I looked, and the delegation declared me into the 200. So I was like, it was like excited, but then I was like, I'm not on my deathbed, amen, but I'm on my COVID bed basically. So it was a weird feeling, but I'm just grateful that I still have a chance to go.
Yeah, I mean, like that's incredible. Who was the first person who you talked to as soon as you qualified?
As soon as I qualified, probably my siblings. We have a group chat, so I put it in there.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm sure. Look, the excitement is incredible, and again, we know now what you're doing. We know now that you're going into this one excited to break your own records. There's a lot of humility there, Tyler. Can I just add? But going into this particular Olympics, a very exciting time for Filipino Olympic fans because of all the athletes going there with hopes for medals. Do you feel, in particular, knowing your times, how your body is physically, do you think that Filipino fans should be looking at you and thinking that, hey, this girl could shock the world?
Yeah, I'm gonna shock myself going into the games because I do not plan on being a 23 girl in there. And when I'm saying 23, I'm talking about my times in the 200. I do not plan on dropping any 23s going into the games. So that's gonna be a lot of work that me and my coach have to get done before, but we have about a month to get the work done.
Kristina, thank you very much for joining us here today. We're so excited to see what you can do in Tokyo. I know you got a lot of traveling ahead after you test negative. I'm calling that right now. You're going to test negative, and you're going to get to go home and do what you need to do. And again, super excited. The whole country has your back, and let's see what you can do in Tokyo.
Yep. Thank you, Kristina.
So much.
Thank you for watching. I'm Tyler Tio.
I'm Pablo De Rosario. This has been The Game.